but A Murder You'll Regret by Winnie Archer. This is part of the Bread Shop Mystery Series, which is one of my favorite culinary cozy mysteries. I did a whole collection of my favorite like food related cozies. I'll link it above as well. But this is book 7 in the series. You don't have to read them in order if you do just want to jump into this. The only thing that would be like spoiled for you is a little bit of like the romantic subplot, but if you don't care about that, if you're more just for the mystery and the cozy vibes, definitely jump in. This one involves our main character Ivy. She's a freelance photographer and a bread shop assistant, so lots of amazing bread scenes. It's what inspired me to learn to make bread this year actually, and I love it so much. And there's also a pug named Agatha. But Ivy is hired to both make bread and also be a photographer at this Dickensian Christmas party where everyone's dressed up like characters from the Christmas Carol. And it's just super wonderful until one of the guests dies and Ivy gets involved in the mystery. So really recommend this. It had all the cozy Christmas vibes. A really great reveal. I barely pieced it together, but it was just so good. It's so much fun. There's only one more book out in this series and I'm hoping it continues because that book came out in 2022. And I haven't seen anything yet about a 2024 release. So I'm like, please, I love this series. I want more. The other one I really love is Baking Spirits Bright. This is so fun. It's by Sarah Fox and this is book 2 within the True Confections mystery series. I love it. Our main character is Becca Ransom and she has come back home to this quaint town that's basically like the Venice of North America because the town has like gondolas, like there's water through it, just like Venice, Italy. So you can kind of see here like the boat on the water and it's just really delightful. It's in Vermont and this one takes place with a baking competition, Christmas themed one of course, and Becca is in the competition. A murder happens and there's also a bunch of other cozy Christmas scenes, lots of Christmas like chocolates and truffles. Her grandparents are delightful. Their names are Lolly and Pops, which I love. Again, this is book 2 in the series. You could jump in here. The only thing that would be maybe semi-spoiled is like a very small romantic subplot. But again, if you don't care, jump into this one. It's a really great time. But I loved book 1 as well. That one was called 6 Sweets Under. I couldn't not put this one in. Basically, there's a Miss Marple short story collection. There is one short story in this collection called A Christmas Tragedy, and we have Miss Marple, who is this amazing older lady. I think she's in her 70s, I want to say, but she's kind of like this small town's like busybody, and she kind of solves things because she's very observant. She puts things together. If you haven't read Miss Marple, she's a delightful cozy mystery sleuth, and this one is a Christmas themed one. Her other stories are amazing in this, so I just recommend the volume in general, but if you're looking for something Christmas specific with Miss Marple, there is A Christmas Tragedy, which is very fun. So one that is on my TBR is Spoon to be Dead by Dana Mentink, and so I have read the first 2 books in the Shake Shop mystery series. This is book 2, A Sprinkle in Time, but Spoon to be Dead just came out in October. I haven't got my hands on it yet. I really want it, but I do feel comfortable recommending it because I loved book 1 and 2. I thought the series is so good. I absolutely love it. Our main character is Trinidad Jones and she lives in Upper Sprocket, Oregon, and basically in the first book she comes to this town because her husband, I think he goes to jail basically, they get a divorce and she's left with this property in town, and she actually finds out that he has like some other wives in the area who were exes of his and they also have property, so she kind of forms a relationship with them, kind of like a girl power, you know, thing, which is really cool. And Spoon to be Dead in particular, it takes place during the winter holidays and she's hired to do like some catering at this party. I think it's on a boat and it's a Christmas party, and her ex ends up bursting in claiming that he's being framed for a crime, and she decides to help him. So I'm really excited to read that one. This one in particular I just finished like a month or 2 ago. It takes place during the Alpenfest, so it's more of a fall festival, but it's definitely still kind of fun. Got, you know, cooler weather and stuff, but I really love this series and I highly recommend it. If you have not read A Christmas Tree Farm mystery series by Jacqueline Frost, I couldn't recommend it enough. I did a collaboration with Beach Bum Bookworm a few months ago and we picked each other's TBRs. I'll link my video above, and she chose this series for me and I read book 1, which is 12 Sleighs of Christmas, and I love it. It takes place in a like Christmas themed town. Our main character lives on a Christmas tree farm with her parents. They run all these like reindeer games and different Christmas events. It's about as Christmassy as you could possibly get. And unfortunately in this one, Holly is helping out with her family for Christmas this year, and somebody is actually killed on their property using one of like the tools on hand at the Christmas tree farm. So they're a suspect in the murder and she is going to solve this mystery. And I really like Holly. I think she's a great character, but the setting is absolutely the selling point for me on on the series. It's so perfect. I need to check some more out for my library because I loved book 1 so much. Another cozy series I think is a great one for this time of year, and it seems kind of funny because you usually think summer and ice cream, but book 1 of the Ice Cream Parlor mystery series by Abby Colette, that book is called A Deadly Inside Scoop. I don't own that one. I checked that out from the library, but A Game of Cones is also really good. But the A Deadly Inside Scoop, which is book 1 in the series, takes place during the winter time. And I mean, they get hit with massive amounts of snow. So it's really fun. Our main character is Bronwyn, and she's kind of revamping her family's ice cream parlor because her grandmother was kind of the spirit of the store. She really put her heart and soul into making flavors and really marketing the place, but her grandmother has passed away. And her family still works there, but they kind of need to revamp it, refresh it. And Bronwyn is going to do that because she kind of has like a marketing background. She's a very savvy sleuth. She's got some interesting best friends. She's got 2 of them, and they're really quirky, fun characters. And I love her family and her relationship with them. It's just so heartwarming and sweet. But I really just enjoy the series. I've read all 3 books in it so far, and book 1 specifically takes place during winter, lots of heavy snowfall, so you get that really great vibe that is just so much fun. And I think it's so fun to read ice cream in winter just because it's kind of an oxymoron a little bit, but it's just so much fun still. Some ones that I'm looking forward to reading this year are Thread on Arrival, a Mainely Needlepoint mystery by Leah Waite, and this one takes place in a coastal New England town. And our main character in this is Angie, and she's like in a needlepoint group, and basically there's this kind of strange man in town named Ike. He's kind of maybe a little bit odd, but one day he's actually found stabbed to death, and a bunch of teenage boys are the suspects in the crime, but Angie doesn't believe it. She's like, no, there's no way. So she's gonna go solve the mystery, and of course we got some cute cats on the cover here. Beautiful wintry scenery. I got this during a mystery book haul for my birthday in March, which I'll link above if you want to check it out, and I've been saving it for this winter because this cover is like the epitome of a winter cozy. The other one I can't wait to read is Thin Ice, a mystery by Paige Shelton. This is part of her Alaska Wild series. It is book 1 in the series. It is a cozy mystery series, but it sounds like it's a little more intense than your typical cozy, so still cozy, like not graphic is what I've heard, but it's a little more intense, a little more like real time with the crime and stuff. So this one's really weird because our main character is Beth Rivers. She's also known by the pen name Elizabeth Fairchild, and she is a thriller writer, and she's actually kidnapped. So she throws herself out of a moving vehicle to escape from her kidnappers, but she ends up having amnesia, and like she's just really disoriented, and she ends up crawling to this like Alaskan town to hide away while the police apprehend her kidnappers. And while she's there, there's also like this suspicious like suicide case that she starts to look into, and again it takes place in Alaska, so just perfect winter setting right there. I also have one other one from Alaska. This one was also a recommendation by Tiffany. I'm really excited to read it. It's called Moose and Murder, an Alaskan Diner Mystery by Elizabeth Logan, and I cannot wait for this one. And our main character in this is Charlotte, or Charlie. She's the head chef at this Alaskan diner that she took over after her mother offered it to her. She's been there for about a year. She's been settling in. She's got her cute cat. But her and her head chef get into a big argument, and then later on her head chef is found dead, and Charlie is one of the suspects in that, so she's got to clear her name. And Tiffany said this was an amazing series. This is book 1 in the series, so I'll be starting there. And I just think anything that takes place in Alaska, even if it's like summer, it still feels kind of wintry to me just because it's so much colder there than most places, so I'm really, really excited for this one. It is in large print because I checked it out from my library and that's all they had for it, so it looks a little bit like thicker than it actually probably is, but I'm very excited for this one. Another really cozy one of my favorite like themes for cozies in the winter is like anything with sewing. So one of the series that I really love is the Scottish Shire mystery series. This is book 1, Murder in a Scottish Shire, and this is by Traci Hall. I've read the first, I think, 2 books in this series so far, and our main character is Paisley. She is a 28-year-old. She is a mother. I think her son's about 9 years old, and she runs this beautiful, like, knitting and crocheting shop where she sells yarn. She also does, like, custom cashmere sweaters and stuff like that, and she's just such a likable person. I really like her. She's very spunky. Her and her son have a really special relationship, and then her grandfather also kind of comes along because the police find him sleeping outside on a bench. They don't really have a good relationship, but of course she's not about to let her grandfather like sleep outside, so she invites him in and they kind of all bond, and it's really sweet. But a murder does happen and she solves it. The murders in this, like the mysteries, are really good, and she has a Scottish terrier named Brody, which is darling, and it takes place in Scotland, which again I feel like somewhere that I typically associate with like colder, you know, rainier, like just freezing weather. So perfect for winter, and I just love sewing stuff for winter. Like, it just, sewing, knitting, crocheting, anything like that reminds me of winter. The other one I'm really excited to read soon, I haven't got it from my library yet, but it's Death of a Neighborhood Scrooge, and this is by Levine as well. It's part of the Jane Austen mystery series. I think it's book 13 in the series. You can jump around this series very easily. I have had no issue with that at all. I take it back. I think this is book 17 in the series, so I'm actually jumping a few books ahead because I've been reading them in order, but I want to read the Christmas one now. But I definitely recommend this. The cover is so much fun, and I just can't wait for that series. And then two non-mystery ones that I strongly recommend are Marmee by Sarah Miller. This is a retelling of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and it's retold from Marmee, the mother's perspective. So you have the four March sisters, of course, and you're watching them grow up from like teens to young women, and I love Little Women. It's such a cozy book. In general, I recommend it, but this one's really special. It was such a touching tale. It gets a little bit deeper than the original one because you're reading from the mother's perspective. So of course she's seeing some of the like darker things that are happening in the world, more so than like Amy, who at the beginning of the book is like 12 or something. So you're reading it from a little bit darker of a perspective, but it's so heartwarming and touching. There was parts of this that made me like tear up. It's really emotional, but really good. And then I really recommend The Treasured Stories of Christmas. This is a collection I actually found in a free little library, and it's got a bunch of Christmas stories from some of the world's best writers. Even Louisa May Alcott, some of the Christmas excerpts from Little Women are in here, but it also has The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and I highly recommend A Christmas Carol. It's so cozy. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen like a Christmas Carol adaptation, like a movie in some form, because it's so done like so many times over, but reading it is such an experience. Even if you don't typically like classics, it's a really good book, and it's also only like, I think it's like 90 pages. It's pretty short, so I really recommend it. And this is just such a beautiful collection, so if you're looking for something cozy to curl up with for yourself, or maybe a nice gift for someone, I would recommend this. I do have everything written in the description and linked down below. If you're interested, check it out. But those are my recommendations and a little bit of my TBR for this winter and Christmas season. I would love to know what is on your reading list this winter. Let me know down below in the comments, and I hope if you celebrate that you had a happy Thanksgiving and happy December. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new book content every week on this channel, especially within the mystery genre. So if you like cozy mysteries, regular mysteries, historical mysteries, classics, or even thrillers, I talk about that on my channel, along with some cozy vlogs. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!